See, is our theme for this day is offer crop drought resilience and farm profits. And we've chosen those titles for this year's forum, and this is our fourth forum, so welcome to the fourth forum. We've chosen those titles because obviously, as the Dean mentioned, drought has been a hot issue, as one might say literally, across northern Ghana over the last year. And we need to look ahead. It's going to continue to be a hot issue. We act as though at times it's a one-off problem and it will not happen again. It will happen again. And we need to prepare. And one of the benefits of offer, as we'll be talking about later in the program, is that it can help crops to withstand dry spells better. Of course, you still need some water, but you do better if you're using offer, if the water is not as much as usual. And we think that's a very important thing for farmers to be aware of and to work with and to see how to optimize, get the best results from offer. So that's one aspect. Then we're also emphasizing farm profits. We come very much from the angle that farming is a business. And most people who are farming need to make some money from their work in farming. Yet sometimes we talk, for example, about increasing yield without even mentioning what the cost of doing that is. And we know for a fact that for some farmers, they're using inorganic fertilizers that actually cost them more than the increased yield they're getting. In other words, they lose money by actually using that fertilizer. Not every case, of course, but in some cases. That's a very serious problem for a business, if you are spending money on something and actually having less money at the end because of that. Fortunately, offer, as the Dean mentioned, is affordable. So it's effective, it's affordable, it's available, and of course, environmentally good as well, a green product, shall we say. So we want to bring people together, farmers first and foremost, but also people from NGOs interested in agriculture. So we know we have GIZ here. Thank you very much for attending. I believe USAID may be around. I'm not sure. I've seen the rep. We have MEDA presenting, who've been a key partner for us this year. And we have some other NGOs as well working with us. And then we also have some people from the ministry and others who are interested in this theme of improving agriculture, improving the lives of farmers. So let's make farming more profitable, as well as greener. Trying to tell farmers to make it greener and lose money is not a good message. It's not going to be an effective message. But we're fortunate that we have a product that can make farming greener and more profitable at the same time. And that's where we believe we can actually transform the lives of many farmers in Ghana and eventually across Africa, but also help our food security and help Ghana do better. So we're excited. We're grateful for all of you coming, taking time to join in this day. We hope you'll find it interesting. It's meant to be an interactive day, so every session we'll try and make sure there's a little opportunity for Q&A, but equally we're building into the program, as you've seen, if you've had a look at your program, sessions for farmer discussion. Of course, non-farmers are also allowed to contribute, but farmers should also contribute so that this day is not just about you listening, but you sharing your knowledge, your experience, your questions, so that we all come out of this, including ourselves, having learned something that will help us do better in the coming year. So once again, thank you. We're grateful for your attendance. We believe that this is an important day that will make a difference, not just in the lives of the farmers and those working with farmers in this room, but as you share your knowledge with others following this forum, it will spread out across northern Ghana to make a big difference for our farming communities as a whole, for our food production as a whole, for Ghana's food security and economy. We're excited to work together with you all to have an impact on these things. So let me not say more, but hand you on to our first speaker, who's going to be Dr. Gilbert Asay. So let me just say the first section, if you look at your program again, you see the first section is focusing on the first theme we talked about, crop drought resilience, making sure our crops do better when the rain is less. And then farm profits, and then legumes. We know that many farmers in this room have been working with soy, some with cowpea, groundnuts and so on around. So we are excited to bring together those themes. Obviously, many people are working with legumes partly because they expect it to need a little less water than some of the other crops that they might be growing. So it's all kind of part of the same thing of being more resilient. And fortunately, Offer can help on all of those themes: drought resilience, farm profits, and making legumes perform better. So let me hand over to, initially to Dr. Gilbert Osei, who's our chief agronomist at HJA Africa, who'll be talking about Offer, drought resilience, and farm profits, based on research work he's done during this year, and also the feedback that we've had, of course, from tens of thousands of farmers using Offer across Ghana. So Gilbert. 1 minute for Gilbert. Okay. So since Gilbert needs 1 minute, let me say a couple more things then. Firstly, as I was saying, we need to look more at making sure that farmers make profits. And that's our focus as a company, to help farmers do better financially and then environmentally as well. Sometimes we talk as though farmers should just focus on green products, even if they don't provide better financial results. No, our focus is to make farmers do better financially as well as environmentally. So that's an important thing. Let me make another point. We've heard a lot from policymakers about the importance of organic. But the truth that I observe is that there's very little commitment to organic in reality. When there's a problem, what happens is that there's immediate importation of inorganic fertilizer to give out free to farmers, which is obviously the worst possible thing to do for our local organic fertilizer industry. So we don't really commit to that. But there's a good reason for that. I'm not criticizing really, because I think underlying this is the reality that organic manures and compost, the conventional organics, are very, very bulky, as you all know as farmers. So transporting them a long distance is often impractical. So I get it that for many of our policymakers, NGOs, and farmers themselves, it doesn't seem a practical solution. So we talk organic, but use inorganic, and that's the reality in Ghana at the moment. What we haven't focused on is the fact that we have a whole category of organic fertilizers, of which Offer is the leading example in Ghana, which are biostimulants. And as the Dean mentioned in passing, you're talking about using very small amounts of Offer with your crops, as you all know as Offer practitioners. So you cut through this problem. Instead of needing to take maybe almost a ton of manure to treat your acre and make it fertile, which is good if you have cows on spot and can do it, it's great. I'm not criticizing at all, it's a great thing to do. But if you don't have your own source of manure locally, it's very difficult. We solve that problem by using a biostimulant. Not to say that it's not a good thing to use conventional organics, it is. But in terms of improving your yield without having to do transportation that is too much, too costly, Offer can solve that problem, and is solving that problem for many of you in